This must be the greatest Christmas present you guys didn't think you were going to get earlier this year. And this is a great victory in this heat, altitude, all the factors around it for your team.
Yeah, I think we spoke a lot about the challenge, that sat around this game with travel. You mentioned the altitude and the temperature, and clearly the opposition, with the heartland of South African rugby, a squad that's packed full of internationals. That was a really good challenge for us, and that's what we were very excited about. So, delighted with our preparation week. It's been great for us to get away from the cold and the wet of the UK and have a week together. We haven't had a pre-season trip for a while, and so for us to spend a week together, even just on the buses to and from training and spending time together, I think it's been very valuable. And then for the players to put a performance like that, it was incredible.
How important was that try before half-time? Because that seemed almost said they were starting to come back, and you guys got the yellow card, then score straight after the yellow card.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of momentum swings. I think there's a period of time after half-time as well where we were down to 14. We defended by the skin of our teeth, and then we immediately went and hit penalty. And I think those are the sort of swings in the game that kept us in it. Obviously, the Bulls fought back, 2 tries that made it 22-21 at one point, I think, and we still managed to keep playing and keep sticking to what we were good at.
Jano obviously had a good game. You've got a very good young talent there, and Pollock over there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, got some real good forwards there that took on the Bulls today.
Yeah, we spoke about Jano during the week with regards to the fact that obviously from South Africa, he's obviously played here a few times against the Bulls. All his family, there'll be a bit of a bullseye on him in terms of a target for him being a South African boy. It's his brother's wedding today. So he's missed that, and none of his family have come to watch him, even though he's in South Africa. So I'm delighted for him, and he played very well, and he was banging. And Henry Pollock, we've spoken about a lot. He was one of those players who always fancies a fight and got stuck in.
Just the last one from me. What was better, this one or Berger's Bri earlier this week?
Berger's our resident Bri master, so he's been educating the English boys around the etiquette of the Bri. He did a meeting earlier in the year where he talked about Bri and how important it was to the South Africans. So he had some good idea of the culture, but that meeting's come up again and again. So he's definitely our specialist.
Coach, just looking at the defense, how important was it in terms of keeping the Bulls out and absorbing the pressure for certain moments and capitalizing when you had those momentum swings?
Yeah, that's fundamental to the game, isn't it? I think for large periods of the time. Set piece under pressure, that makes us under some territorial pressure, and we had to, like I said, backs against the wall, and I think the Bulls had a couple of tries disallowed, and like I said, we hung in there and we showed great character in terms of doing that. And I think what this side will always do is create opportunities. I think that's one of our fortes in how we play the game, and we create space, create opportunities, and we've managed to convert enough of those to get over the line.
I mean, Saracens came here last season and defeated. Getting the win for this group, and again, put the prospects of going all the way deep, having a deeper line put in this week in terms of keeping galvanizing the election.
Yeah, I think it's important for a lot of reasons. I think we looked at their home record and how strong it was at Loftus Versfeld, and I think it's only Munster and Glasgow in knockout games who've been able to get a win here. I think from a point of view with regards to momentum in the season, I think this gives us a lot of confidence in our game. That's what the players spoke about afterwards in terms of, we're very, very competitive when we get it right. And I think coming to these tough environments, you find out a lot about yourselves. And I think we answered a lot of questions today in terms of how we wanted to approach those challenges that we talked about before. And I thought we met them head on, and I thought we showed enough guts to get a performance that hopefully will push us forward throughout the season.
And then Jano, because Elias is leaving for Ulster, but then can you just tell us about his sort of impact during his time with you guys?
Jano is an incredible rugby player. His athleticism and also his skill level in terms of his game sense is outstanding. I think over the last couple of seasons, and I'll probably be corrected, I think his yards after contact, some of the highest, certainly in the Premiership. His ability to get us going forward over the game line, making ugly carries to get us going forward, I think has been exceptional. He's a great man in the group as well off the field, very quiet and well-mannered. But when you put him in a shirt and you get him stuck in, he's a handful. So, yeah, we're sad to be losing Jano, but we also want to support him up until the point where he does go at the end of the season, and we want to make this a very memorable season for him, and hopefully this will be one of the things he takes away with him.
Just from a player's perspective, you guys must have thanked the heavens when the clouds above, because it really very hot.
Yeah, it did make a big difference. I think, yeah, in the warm up and yesterday, it was very, very warm when the sun was out. So yeah, the clouds coming over was a big help. But it was hot out there. But I think we fought pretty well, and it was something that we pretty much pride ourselves on anyway around the way we train, and we back ourselves to outrun teams and outwork teams. And I think we got a long way along in that game today.
Just the playing at Loftus for the first time, for us it was quite a privilege to be able to see you guys play, because otherwise we'd never have the opportunity. And I was quite impressed by actually seeing some of your players in real life, amongst others, Jano. Gus, I mean, he's South African, but it's been a while. What was your experience of Loftus as a stadium being here? It wasn't that big a crowd, but still, the fact that it was at Loftus, the sort of the cathedral of rugby for the Bulls and the likes. What's your experience about that?
Yeah, I think it was really cool, to be honest. We speak a lot in the squad just about the opportunities that this tournament gives us, and one of our players spoken yesterday about how we're taking on one of the best sides or club sides in the world in one of the iconic stadiums, like an iconic test stadium as well, and to be able to play here, let alone win here, is like a massive privilege for us. So we've got a lot of respect for this team and the way and the history that this side has. And so, yeah, Loftus as a stadium was very, very cool. Yeah, as you said, it wasn't the busiest, but you still heard the fans, and they still use their voices. And I can only imagine if it was full, what it would be like. So, yeah, a massive privilege, and it's something we're very grateful for.
Just in terms of your planning, if I may ask, I asked the same question of Frankie Smith when the Glasgow Warriors came here. Altitude's one thing, heat's another one. You said, yeah, you guys, you want to play and you play the conditions a lot, but you must have planned for this a little bit. I mean, you can't just run out in the field and just run out of steam halfway through.
No, of course not. But the way we train, we work pretty hard anyway, and we back ourselves to outrun teams. To be honest, we back ourselves to dig in fights for longer, to push teams to different levels. And so, although we would be feeling the altitude, we were pretty sure that the Bulls would be too. And so that was kind of something we had in our heads the whole time. In terms of preparation, we obviously got here on the Tuesday morning, and we had a pretty light session then, and then we just wrapped it up a bit on Thursday. So it was a different training week for us. But I think we got it bang on, to be honest, in terms of stripping back a little bit and getting boys really excited to just go and have a good crack today.
Oh, well done. It was pretty seeing you guys play here.
Thank you very much.
Maybe for either of you, just Dan Bigger had when this competition comes around, there's always a debate about the South African team's involvement and playing in South Africa and the difficulty for teams travelling here. Just for either of you, I mean, just your thoughts on that and what it adds and the difficulties. Is it worth it? Is it? I mean, from the opportunity versus the travel.
Yeah.
So the factor, how does that factor in you guys?
From my point of view, and Fraser will jump on the back of it, is if you'd heard that change room afterwards, you would know how worthwhile it was. Things just spoke very, very eloquently around the privilege it is to play in stadiums like this. South Africa being world champions and with the heritage that has, particularly in this area, players want to play against the best players. They want to play against the best teams, and they want to play in the best stadiums. They get excited by that. And they've seen it on TV, and then they get to come here. The travel is an issue, and I think we've tried to manage the week this week. I would have to answer that question in 2 weeks' time, to be honest, in terms of the hangover. And I mean that in depending, maybe. So the hangover, we've got Saracens next week, so getting back into the British system, the British weather. We're still quite new to this as well, so we've asked Leinster, we've asked Glasgow for advice in terms of how they've dealt with it in the past. So I think it's a learning curve, but I think from my point of view and from the players' point of view, the experience of coming out here, even like I mentioned before, from a team building point of view, the experience of playing against some of the best players and some of the best teams in the world, and there's some guys in our squad who've never flown further than Europe, and I think even just for young men to experience something totally different. We went on a safari Wednesday morning, and it was a great experience for the individuals. And I think I don't think we should lose that either in terms of people seeing the world and learning different things.